Kani kadai ka Batisi TV, bat pidang pet ya ka kubor baman kasni, belawan rasha pi da ka rupa, ringkat bat ka orange Nissan, lom sopo near Fabricate Shillong.
New Nissan Kicks. Bookings open now.
Ka Indian National Trust for Art and Cultural Heritage, haga arpo artarik unai wing arjar kat kendai, kala penlong ya ka Ïathir Ïatai, halor ka Jingma ka baap ya ka Jingduhjait no jong ki Ktien Tynrai, baju keren da ki riulom ka tan citai lamingi hari India. Ya kani ka Ïathir Ïatai bala penlong hau tirot sing guest house ka badan haskul ba Nehu Shillong, laidon lang u Chief Electoral Officer ka Sarkar Jala uba Frederick Roy Karkongor, ubala long Kongsan, but u Professor Andrew May, ubalawan kerpang naga University of Melbourne, Australia, ban ai jingkren halor ka Jingma ki baap ya ki Ktien Tynrai, jong ki ritpait, lada omdan da ka Jingbu Jingto Jingtar. Kiway pat kinong kren hagane ka Ïathir Ïatai ki kintupru yaw Dr. Kailash Bhattacharjee, upala kren halor kamat kabay day bat ka jing penne pansa ya ka Ktien Khasi, but u Professor Desmond L. Carmo Plang, upala ay jing kren halor kapang Revisiting Ethnopaleography, the Khasi Project.
We belong to a microscopic community, short of 10 lakhs, in the huge ocean that is India. And if you look at the northeast itself, the map of the northeast itself looks like a speech bubble. And it has hundreds of languages in states like Nagaland as well as Arunachal Pradesh. Every 10 kilometers, I think you have a different dialect, you have a different language. Even here in Meghalaya, you go to the Jaintia Hills, there are different dialects. You go to Riboi, where Desmond has done extensive work. There are so many different dialects and so many different intonations. So there are definitely challenges. There are three main things, I think three main objectives, which is to preserve, promote and to protect. Or, preserve, protect and promote. They all interlinked together. They cannot be viewed in silos. Because to preserve, you need to protect. And when you are in the process of preserving and protecting, you're also in a sense promoting it also. So we face this enormous challenge of being, first of all, our size. Then secondly, we live in this digital age. In fact, with my very own children, sometimes when they send me messages, I don't understand what they send. It's all full of abbreviations and commas and smaller abbreviations. I have to get it deciphered. When we were younger, when we read comics, all those things that tie together looked like an abuse. In fact, and full of slashes and echelons and So nowadays, our children they use emojis. So I forget about mainstream language. Our children are not reading enough. I mean, they don't read. I buy them novels, but they keep it aside. They're much more comfortable in scrolling the screen to get short updates and short. It's a world where there's very less attention span. And the challenge, I think, how to preserve, protect, and promote our language is how to how to master this digital age, how to make our languages more mainstream. I think some of the efforts in popular media like Shillong Chimbukaya, what they're doing, bringing Khasi opera, Solingam, talking about music, Khasi music. So that makes it more engaging for young people at one level. And at another level, you have movies. Now you have quite a few Khasi movies coming out. You have Yodo, which is being screened all over India in all the big multiplex theatres. And then you also have, a few years ago, I remember there was a very nice animation on Tirot Singh. And there's another young boy who's done, who's brought out, and what you call an app, it's called Tang Shikimten, I think, Khasi app. So that way, young people, they feel more engaged because you're using their medium. When we did our election campaigns, we found that the mainstream media is something which does not get that much wide appeal, but it's through social media. So we are using Facebook, we are using Instagram, we are using WhatsApp for our election campaigning. I mean, in terms of voter education. So we find that whenever there is that cycle of viewership and likes, then it sort of disseminates. It makes young people more interested. Talking about Khasi, it's been in I think an enduring struggle to get the language part of the 8th schedule, as one of the recognized languages. And we need to produce more literature, more movies. We need to produce much more, mainstream work that is out there, so that our children also, they get engaged and they get triggered to know and to appreciate, the richness of our language and of our culture.
Hagabay day bat kani ka jingshim kia jonga Intach ka bate CTV kalayo alat bane kren bat ka Dr. Madeline Tam ka balapan pau ya ka jing ang not baki long yeng long sem ki day ban penslor ya ki khon bakin shim ya ka subject khasi haki school nado ki kelas ki baret kenang bakin dup iet ya la ka jonga Ktien. Kat bana kaliang u Professor Desmond L. Karmong Plang ulapan pau baka jing besut ya ki tien shnong haka Ktien khasi kadai ka bakong san bahan amar kani ka penrius pa shikat day ya ka Ktien.
This choice of giving our Khasi people to take alternative English has been disastrous. As I've mentioned in my keynote address, many of our science and maths faculty have come from the rural areas where they take Khasi as a second language. And I think the MBOs should take up this issue and make Khasi interesting and, readable and, for youngsters and students to enjoy learning the language. We enjoyed learning Khasi because ICSE second language has to be a mother's tongue, and it's Khasi usually for most of us. And sad to say that many of our children in the Shillong city, take alternative English because maybe the text is not interesting. Parents should encourage their children to take up Khasi. This MBOs should make Khasi interesting and enjoyable, like how we enjoyed studying Khasi during our school days. We enjoyed reading S.J. Duncan's work. We enjoyed reading Mr. Jarwar's work. Susutham, of course. The Susutham is a classic. You can, just like Shakespeare, you can study Shakespeare in all schools all over the world. Even ICSE, we study Shakespeare in school. We do research on Shakespeare at the university level. So please, I would encourage everyone to take up Khasi and encourage their children also to do this.
Much concerned about the kind of transformation that has come into our lives, into the community, especially in terms of the landscape. And when I say landscape, I would also include the ecology, the environment, the lifestyles that has, the transformation that has come into our lifestyles, and also the occupation. For instance, in the presentation which I will be giving today, I will talk about, the first time when I had gone to work in a certain remote village in Ribhoi, how I collected those narratives. And now, 29 years after, I'm going to the same villages, and I find that many of the youngsters cannot relate to the kind of lexicon, to the kind of words and the word structures that are there in those narratives, which I collected 29 years ago. I asked myself, why? Why has this happened? It is because they can no longer relate to the environment which has changed so theatrically, around them. They cannot relate to the occupation which has changed so much, So these are things which concerns me, because with the loss of this huge corpus of material, there is also this profound loss to the language. So this is a matter of serious concern. We cannot fail if we go by the tried and tested method of documentation. Now that we have the chirographic tools with us, we have the writing with us, we should make use of this. This is the first thing. And of course also to develop a consciousness, and to instill a sense of pride, in the language. For instance, I'll give you one example. Having worked also in the Langam area, I find that the people there, when I was working there, they used a kind of a leaf as umbrella. Okay, and it actually functions just like an umbrella. And they used to call this leaf slow. Now, what is the harm in using the word slow to designate the umbrellas that we use here, the factory manufactured umbrellas. It will add to the language, you see. So this is the way in which we can borrow, these various influences that we have from various dialects and start using them. This will enrich the language tremendously.